Hi, I'm Delaney McKinley, and I'm part of MMA's government affairs team. And as part of that, that means I'm a professional lobbyist. And one of the most frequent questions I get is, what does that mean? What is a lobbyist? What is it that you do every day? Well, there are a lot of misconceptions about what lobbying is. Some think it's all about wining and dining politicians, and some of it really is about really important meetings with policymakers. No doubt the profession has been very much maligned in the public and in the media, with many equating it to bribery. And I can tell you that that's not true at all. What the reality is that lobbying is a highly regulated profession that is really all about educating government policymakers. Legislators and regulators can't possibly know everything about every industry, so it's important that we're there to inform them of the impact of their decision on Michigan's manufacturing community. And as part of that education, it's important to create and nurture relationships with those decision makers. There's an element of trust that comes along with stronger partnerships and stronger relationships, and in today's contentious political environment, trust is important. Some equate it kind of like marketing, and manufacturers clearly understand the importance of marketing and marketing the value of their products to their customers. And lobbying isn't really all that different. We're working to prove the value of our industry and the individual companies within it to key government officials. Persuasion is really important. Of course, there are thousands of other lobbyists out there that are working to accomplish things that often run counter to the interests of Michigan manufacturing. Persuading those decision makers on the importance of Michigan's manufacturing industry to the state's economy, to local communities, and to families is critical in ensuring legislative and regulatory victories that lead to a business environment that's conducive to manufacturing success. So why do we lobby legislators? Involvement in the legislative arena in Michigan is more important than ever because that Michigan has the strictest term limits in the nation. And new legislators are churning over fairly frequently, so continuous education is key. In the House, legislators are limited to 3 two-year terms. In the Senate, they're limited to 2 four-year terms. So as a result, candidates tend to either be very young or conversely at the end of their career. And oftentimes it's someone who's related to a former legislator so that they have the name recognition that comes along with that. While many candidates for office recognize the importance of the manufacturing industry, very few really understand how public policy impacts them and how to foster a business environment conducive to manufacturing competitiveness. And in many communities, while manufacturing is driving the economy, they remain relatively invisible to citizens because they aren't selling goods directly to the consumer. So if legislators know who you are, they can better represent you in Lansing. Beyond the value that lobbying has to our industry, the important outreach is also desirable to legislators themselves. They want to be well informed and take pride in supporting companies in their district. And in order to help their constituents, both individuals and families residing in their district and the companies that employ them, they need to hear from those constituents what it is that they need. They really want to help their constituents and be helpful to their district. But it's really not just about professional lobbyists like me and the other registered lobbyists here within MMA's government affairs team. Some of the most effective advocates for our industry are people just like you. Here at MMA, we do our best to make it easy for you to engage with policymakers and put a face on your company. As a member, you receive numerous calls to action throughout the year asking you to reach out to your local legislators on important manufacturing policy issues. I can tell you there is no more powerful argument for a legislator in a contentious battle than to hear from a company in his or her own district. While MMA's government affairs team is on the ground here in Lansing every day, and we have strong relationships with these legislators from all over the state, it is you and your employees and your friends and your neighbors that will ultimately vote them in or out of office. And that is very compelling to legislators. We also have several events throughout the year that will help you connect with your legislators. Make sure to check out our website for information about MMA's annual Lobby Day, legislative reception, policy committees, and other events across the state. Remember, they're just people. You can reach out to your legislator by phone, letter, or email. Better yet, invite them into your plant for a tour or connect with them in their community. When legislators know you, they will think of you when a manufacturing issue arises and will likely seek out your input in the legislative process. When talking to legislators, be sure to keep it short and sweet. You can develop your elevator speech, somewhere around 20 to 30 second pitch that will briefly describe what your company is, what it's all about, and how you impact the community. Back to my point earlier about marketing, this isn't all that different than the pitch that you've developed when talking to prospective customers or to new hires. It's also important to remember that you don't have to have a crisis in order to reach out to legislators. Make sure that your senator and representative know about your business, where your facilities are located, how many employees you have, how many families your company supports, local charities and communities that you contribute to, things that really influence the footprint that you have in the state and into that district. I'll reiterate again that plant tours are a great way to invite a policymaker into your world. This applies to legislators and local leaders, but also the public. If you're worried about where your talent is coming from in 5, 10, 15 years, are you engaging with your local schools? Do parents and students in the area know about the great careers that you have to offer? Lastly, social media is cheap and easy and one of the most effective means of communication. Make sure your company has a strong presence online that reflects your company's identity and impact, and certainly connect those with your local lawmakers. No doubt your parents will be pleased to hear that I will reiterate many of the points that they taught you. Be pleasant and professional. Get to the point and make sure your message is succinct. Legislators juggle a lot of duties, so if you can, have some brief written materials that you can leave with them. And it's always a good idea to send a thank you note. It develops these relationships that are so critical and keeps you front of mind for that legislator. And I feel compelled to remind everybody in this day of antagonistic and confrontational discourse, please be respectful. Don't insult legislators. I can tell you in all honesty, in all my experience in my career, that they are really trying to do the best job they can for their district. And reputation is everything. Trust is paramount, so don't lie or mislead legislators in your interactions. On to some questions that we hear frequently. First, isn't lobbying something done by people with lots of money? And the answer is no. Simply, grassroots lobbying is all about capturing the power of individual people, of small companies, of individual interests for a powerful result. It doesn't cost any money to give you a call to your senator or representative or to attend their local coffee hour. Second, aren't there registration requirements for lobbyists? Yes, the answer is yes, but as I mentioned before, lobbying is regulated at both the state and federal level. It is highly regulated. However, any person may communicate directly with public officials at any time. It is only once you exceed certain monetary thresholds that you must register. And in Michigan, if you are a person, if you as an individual person are compensated or reimbursed more than $625 in a year for lobbying, or if your company expends more than $2,425 during any 12-month period for lobbying, you must register with the Secretary of State Bureau of Elections. Finally, how do I find my legislators? It's easy. You can go online and type in your home address or facility address to find your state senator and representative. Or you can make it even easier. Call me, call the MMA, and we'll be happy to connect you. By reaching out to your local officials, you'll be able to gain access to public officials who oftentimes make critical decisions that impact your company's bottom line. Having a relationship and familiarity with your company is key to helping them make those decisions in a way that is favorable to manufacturing growth. You'll also help boost the credibility of the industry as a whole. Perhaps most importantly, your outreach will help cement the political footprint of the Michigan manufacturing industry. Here at MMA, we know that you are our true power. The vast impact of companies like yours is what gives our government affairs team the ability to achieve legislative and regulatory victories. We encourage you to reach out regularly with the public officials in your area to make sure that the message about the importance of our industry resonates across the state. I hope this brief overview was helpful in explaining why lobbying is important and why you should take some time to reach out to your local representatives. If you'd like to reach out, I'm always available for questions or to act as a sounding board. You can contact me directly at the contact information on your screen. Thank you for your time today, and thank you for your membership.